Looks to come inside and fire one a goal and find the back of the net for Perth.
And the Azzurri have come back from 2 goals down to tie it up.
Cue the celebrations for the Azzurri.
Yeah, welcome to the Perth SC Podcast, episode 9, coming to you from Dorrien Gardens. Of course, always powered by Lidio Fiore and the team at the Panorama Club, Perth's premier private members club and luxury workspace, and also Camera House in Leederville, your go-to destination for the Leederville and the wider Perth creative community, providing expert advice and a comprehensive range of photography and video equipment. Another big episode, plenty to get through, plenty of results to talk about, and plenty to look ahead in another week down here at the Perth Soccer Club. We'll be speaking to, man of the moment, Josh Cala. He's going to join us in just a little while, of course, after rescuing that point for Perth against the Western Knights on Friday night. So we'll have a chat to Josh and see how he's getting along in season 2025, and I reckon he'll be feeling pretty good about things. Not often the old fullbacks get up and score one from inside the 6-yard box. So we'll have a chat to Josh about that. Also, Kim McCartney is going to join us, central defender for the MPLW side. She'll jump on a little bit later on. Right, plenty of news coming out of the club this week. A little bit more out of the MPLW side, and following the return of course, Ella Lincoln, who we saw on the weekend from her time at Perth Glory, I can reveal right now, that Tian McKenna is going to return to the mighty Azzurri Blue, and also Georgia Cassidy is going to jump on as well. And those two ladies will be with the MPLW side for the remainder of the 2025 MPLW season. So some more reinforcements for Tom Glavich's side. And, I'm sure it's going to create a few headaches in selections and everything else like that, and a little bit to think about for Tom and Fernando as they try and find that winning formula. Let's have a bit of a look back at the weekend that was, though. Starting all the way back last Friday night as our Azzurri men took on the Western Knights right here at Dorrien Gardens. A couple of changes for Kenny Lowe's side. Mark Birighetti was again between the sticks following the injury to Kiwi import Curtis Mogg. Aidan Formston came back in to partner Luca Herninger, of course, the youngster there. So a little bit of an inexperienced centre-back pairing there. Also, Kobe Sutton came back into left-back with Josh Cala on the right. Daniel Fakeney returned to the starting lineup alongside Abdul Osman, Sam Rayak and David Ninkovic across the midfield, while Ethan Banks again partnered Gordon Perkins in attack. And despite taking some time to fill each other out, the two sides, Azzurri got off to a pretty bright start inside 25 minutes after that deadly combination between Gordon Perkins and Ethan Banks. Once again, that paid some dividends for Kenny Lowe. The move down the left saw Daniel Fakeney find Perkins, with the Knights failing to clear their lines. A loose ball fell to Banks, who easily put it past Knights keeper in Sam Riley. A former Azzurri player, Christian Santich, what a gun he was in the Azzurri Blue. However, he was in the old red on this occasion. He had a bit of a day out and certainly caught out the Azzurri on many an occasion. In fact, he caught Luca Herninger in possession to go one-on-one with Mark Birighetti and slot home to level things up, making it, of course, 1-1. He would then top that effort, did Santich. It was a spectacular free kick to witness, no matter which side of the fence you were on, and he beat Birighetti from a tight angle, giving the Knights the go-ahead goal, in fact, going into the last half hour. And, things would go from bad to worse for the Azzurri when the referee pointed to the spot following a handball against Luca Herninger. Knights captain Jesse Lazaro converted from the spot to give the Knights a 3-1 advantage. Azzurri then lost substitute Sean O'Connor to a straight red card after he lashed out against Christian Santich. So it was just going downhill very, very quickly for the Azzurri boys. However, with the backs against the wall, Gordon Perkins gave the 10-man home team a bit of a glimmer of hope when he wheeled inside at the top of the box to beat Riley on 82 minutes. And as Azzurri pushed and pushed, It was fullback Josh Cala, who found himself pretty high up the pitch, it must be said. And with the Knights failing to again clear their defensive lines, Cala jumped on a loose ball in 93 minutes, would you believe it, to rescue a very unlikely point for Perth. But hey, it's when your backs are against the wall, isn't it, that you've really got to dig deep. And the boys absolutely did that despite maybe a few other things going against them. And I guess just how that result sits with the rest of the league. In a weekend that saw, well, little movement, it must be said, at the business end of the NPL men's table. We saw Armidale draw with Perth Glory. We saw Olympic and Bayswater share the spoils, with Fremantle, Balcatta and Stirling all recording wins to pull away from that relegation scrap. So what does it look like as far as the table goes? Well, Bayswater lead the way despite dropping points. Their first points drop for the season. Perth Glory sits in second, just 2 points behind. And then it's Kingsway on 16 points, Perth on 15, Armidale on 9, all the way to Stirling in sixth position, Fremantle in seventh, Balcatta, Sorrento, Red Star, Knights, and finally, poor old Floriat, who sit 3 points adrift from safety at this point in time. So, yeah, that's how it looks as far as the table, and we'll have a bit of a look ahead towards the back end of the podcast. For the Azzurri girls, well, after beating the Football West Academy in the previous week, they took on a pretty gritty Fremantle City side on Sunday afternoon. Dale Schroeder once again took the gloves, with Hannah Collins slotting into centre back in the absence of Matilda Boehm. She joined Kim McCartney. Ruby Marshall was out one side, and April Nascent also at fullback out on the left as well. Daisy McAllister once again anchored the midfield with Maya Archibald and Sam Mathers. And up the top, of course, was Ella Lincoln, who the Azzurri girls welcomed back from her time in the A-League. She'd joined Louise Tanner and Jess Flannery in attack. Well, the first 15 minutes or so, they were a little bit of a battle for both sides, weren't they? If you had to have witnessed that game, the visitors probably had the first real chance with the Perth's Dale Schroeder coming to the rescue to deny Fremantle's Sophie Meaden. Perth started to get themselves back into the game, got a bit of a foothold in the game when Flannery fed Tanner to shoot across the Fremantle keeper in Megan Phillips before Lincoln was denied there at the back post. And Flannery turned provider this time for McAllister, who uncharacteristically, it must be said, put the ball wide. It was a bit of a period of missed chances there for the Azzurri girls. However, just minutes later, Perth would capitalise with Mathers and Lincoln combining before finding Flannery on the overlap. A neat little turn inside, and she curled a shot beautifully to that far post to make it 1-0 to the Azzurri. But just before half-time, the Freo keeper, Megan Phillips, let fly with a bit of a Hail Mary bomb it was, straight down the middle of the pitch. And unfortunately, Hannah Collins just misreading the flight, giving Freo centre-half Lena Wood a bit of an opportunity to feed Michaela Lyons, who beat Schroeder from just inside the 18-yard box to make it 1-1. And to be fair, it was a match of limited clear-cut chances, and Freo would prove once again they wouldn't be a pushover as they have done in previous encounters. They've been a bit of a thorn in the side of Perth on occasions, and this one would be no different. The points shared, the final result, Perth 1, Fremantle City 1. So combining that with other results, Balcatta with a 4-2 win over the Football West Academy. Red Star beat UWA 6-2, while Subiaco polled more misery on Murdoch Uni Melville with a 3-0 win. Quick look at the ladder. The Football West Academy still sit top on 18 points from 8 matches, despite playing one more than Perth, who sit in second on 17 points. Red Star have moved up to third on 16 points. Balcatta in fourth, having only played 6 matches currently. They sit on 10 points, equal with Subiaco. Then it's Fremantle, UWA and Mum FC yet to get off the mark in 2025. So a little bit lowly there for poor old Mum FC. Other results for the Azzurri across the weekend. Well, under 23s men, that was a brilliant 4-3 win for Kev Castle's side. 2 goals to Jamie McNellis, 1 each to Michael Scafetta and also Elmer Zamastagic. So I'm getting on the score sheet there. So well done to our 23s men. For our 18s men, well, they went one better. In fact, they went 7 better. It was 7-0 over the Knights. Harry Surtees with a hat-trick, 2 for Matthew Palella, and 1 each to Leo Viccioli and Evan Morehouse getting on the score sheet there as well for the 18. So big congratulations to everyone involved. Finally, for our women's 21s, bit of a heartbreaker. It was an 85th minute winner for Fremantle City. Saw the girls go down 3-2. Sophie Rennie on the score sheet as well. She was rewarded with a little bit of time, bit of an opportunity for the first team, in fact. So some good form there by Sophie, and also Erin Hunt getting on the score sheet for Perth for our 21. So there we go. A bit of a look back at the weekend. And, we might move forward, in fact. We might get into the first of our chats, and we'll have a bit of a chat to Josh Cala, having a bit of a chat with us about what's been happening inside the NPL men's team, what to look forward to, and maybe reflect on that goal on the weekend. Well, this next man's on a bit of a high on the weekend. He was the man of the moment, scoring the equalising goal in what was a tremendous comeback for the Azzurri boys as they levelled it up 3-3, 10 men, backs against the wall. Josh Cala got up nice and high, is in his fullback position, and scored the equaliser to bring a point home for the Azzurri. And he joins us on the Perth SC podcast. Mate, thanks for jumping on with us.
It's all right. Pleasure to be here.
No worries at all. Hey, first of all, take us through that goal.
Yeah, so 3-1 down, a man down. I thought Gordon sparked something with his effort from long range, and then we've won the ball. I'm like, it's 90 plus minutes, so just thought I'd stay up there, and balls come in, seen it drop, and I'm like, I've got to just throw myself at it. It's going in.
I was like, what's he doing up there? Like you stayed up high, and was that a direction from Kenny, or was that
No,
just yourself? Just
It was my preference, and I didn't get told not to, so I was like, I'll do it.
Well, you had to go all out, really. I mean, if you're in a position there. Obviously, that game on the weekend, I think you guys have probably already had a chat about it. Not the greatest performance, it must be said.
Yeah.
But you must be bloody proud as a group to get yourself back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I thought we started the game quite well. When we took the lead, I was pretty happy with the way we were playing. But once we conceded, it's just everything went out the window, the way we're trying to play and whatnot. But it's like the red card kind of sparked something in the team, and we just played the way we wanted to play. And, yeah, to get a result from being 2 goals down and a man down, I think that showed something. So I'm happy with the boys in that sense, but also not happy that we dropped 2 points.
It felt a little bit similar to the game against Floreat in a way. Just a real missed opportunity, it felt. But, I mean, once you do equalise in those circumstances, it almost feels like a little bit of a win, that you probably had no right to get into that game. And I was, there, and I was watching the Knights fans, actually, and they were spewing that, that they allowed you back into it, or that you got yourselves back into it. So it does feel like a little bit of a win. Mate, season so far, how are you assessing things? Obviously a lot better feeling around the group than there was this time last year, but how are you guys feeling about things?
Yeah, as a group, the vibe this year around the players is much better. We're looking to go into games to win games rather than just stay above relegation zone. So it's a good feeling trying to stay in the top 4 and even push for the first place. And yeah, the way we're playing this year is just a much more positive and vibrant way of playing that Kenny's implemented. And I think after a pre-season with Kenny, we didn't get that last year. So after a pre-season with Kenny, the way we're playing is quite good. It's a good vibe around the team.
How are you seeing your role currently, mate, in that fullback position? It was something that I think last year you kind of were in the guts a little bit, and then you spread out wide and played in that right back position. I thought you played actually a couple of pearlers last year. One that sticks out to mind to me was a win at Balcatta, and you seem to have just picked up where you left off in that fullback position. Is that your most comfortable?
Well, I've played six my whole life.
Is that right? Yeah.
I've played six my whole life. Last year there's a few injuries with Zaid, and then we had Feder out there, and then we got a few suspensions. So I was just the player that would go in there and fill in. That was last year. This year I've pretty much position changed to a right back, and the way we play with inverted fullbacks, or even if I stay out wide, I do like it. And I would say this year it's my preferred position. So, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable there.
Some new faces at the back there to work alongside. Luca Herninger, the youngster. I think he's one of the brightest talents in the league, if I'm perfectly honest. And then you've got a bit of an older head in Curtis Mogg, unfortunately injured at the moment. But just what's it like to be playing alongside and maybe mentoring someone like Luca?
Yeah, playing alongside Luca, I love playing with him. I've known him for 2 years now. Last year he was in the 20s, but he was training with us. And to see his progression from last year to this year, the way he plays, he doesn't play like a junior. He plays like someone who's got a bit of experience about him. So he's strong on the ball, and even on the ball pass-wise, he's very good. So, yeah, he's someone you like to have on your team.
A little bit on Moggy, obviously injured at the moment. How much of a loss do you feel he is out of that side?
Yeah, I think he's a big loss. Not that people who come in can't replace him. I think we've got a lot of squad depth and good players that can fill his shoes. But, yeah, he's a big loss. He's a great player, but it's his leadership that goes missing. That I think that's the biggest loss. When he's gone, he's very vocal, gets the defence organised, and he's a quality player as well.
You've been here at this club for a long time now. Was it under 11s? Yeah. I mean, obviously a huge family connection. You see your mum and dad here weekly and doing great work around the club as well, and massive supporters of not only yourself but the football club as well. What does this club mean to you, mate?
Means a lot. So, yeah, 11th season here now. I couldn't pitch myself at any other club, really. I do like it here. Perth boy, and, yeah, club means a lot to me. So to be able to get on the score sheet now, it means even more. So you would probably see me running around like a bit of a maniac when I equalise on the weekend, but it's just because the club means a lot to me, and I want to do as much as I can to help Perth be where we should be at the top.
I feel that's something missing a little bit in the modern game these days, and that is that pure club loyalty. There's a lot of switching and changing between clubs. Of course, people want to elevate their careers, go on to bigger and better things, and that I get, but I think we really miss people like yourself that are just that one club player. And I mean, how do you see that side of it?
Yeah, I do think Perth is a club with a lot of history, and it's been run by players such as Jordan Delaya in the past, who's been here his whole life through juniors, and he came through as a captain, and he led the team to a league title as well, or a couple, I'm not too sure. But I think that's what went missing once he hung the boots up. So, yeah, it's good to somewhat fill his shoes. Hopefully I can get a bit of success, and dream is to captain the team in the future. But, yeah, I think we lack a little bit of, just the boys who know what it's like to play at the team. So, yeah.
26 league titles this club has, first division titles, I should say. Do you feel like there's a bit of a responsibility for especially yourself, someone who knows this club in and out, to try and, I guess, build on that legacy?
Yeah, obviously you have that sort of weight on your shoulders, and you're the biggest club in WA. You got that responsibility that you should be up there in the top four. So the past couple of seasons when you're not up there, it gets a bit worrying. But this year we're going in the right direction. So I've got no worries that we should be getting in the right direction. So
coming into football, mate, as a youngster, who were some of your influences?
Like internationally?
Or whoever.
Probably watching Coutinho. Love that guy. Bit different to the way I play, but just inspiring the way he plays. That's someone I look up to. And family-wise, anyone in the... No, never really saw anyone in my family that that play football. So I don't have any. Obviously, mum and dad bigger supporters though. Yeah, my mum and dad are the biggest supporters. Yeah, they come every game. Even my nana and pop, they come all the time. So they're my biggest supporters. No, beautiful stuff. Bit of a curly one. What's the best bit of advice that you've received around football? It's pretty basic, but it's just believe in yourself and never give up. Really. Yeah. There's been a few times where haven't been in juniors, haven't been picked, and I just trust the process and got where I got because I just never gave up. Really.
Tricky fixture this week, it must be said. Armidale away, a tough place to go at the best of times. It is 4th versus 5th. There's a little bit of a gap, which I'm sure you'd love to extend and really solidify your spot in the 4. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, Armidale always a very tricky fixture, but it's a massive opportunity to go 9 points clear of them and kind of cement ourselves in the top 4. And also, it's just we're only a point off second, I believe. Very close.
I'll have to have a bit of a look after the
2
weekend.
points, something like that. Yeah, I think it's 2 points or 3 points off. But it's an opportunity to even extend ourselves in the league, but to also cement us in the top 4, 9 points ahead of 5th.
Are you one that watches the other teams and looks out for where they are and checks the ladder and stuff?
Not really. I'll watch my mates' highlights in other teams, but never the other games. Really.
There you go. Just another one, a bit of a tricky one, a bit of a cheeky one before we let you go, mate. If there was another player across the league that you could have at Perth, who would it be?
Probably my mate Josh Villalowski is a forward. Yeah, great player.
Down there at Stirling?
Yeah, and he's doing quite well as well. This year.
Good stuff, mate.
Thought he played pretty well against us as well.
Yeah. Do you give him a bit of stick on the field?
Yeah, I try to, yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, Josh, thanks for giving us a few minutes, mate, and all the best against Armidale.
Sweet. Cheers. Thank you.
Big thanks to Josh Cala, who joined us before the break. It's a pleasure to be able to welcome this next lady and have a bit of a chat about what's happening in the NPLW scene. Of course, a 1-1 result for the girls on the weekend. And, a big part of this season and last season at the back, a bit of a rock at the back, in fact. Kim McCartney's with us. Thanks for jumping on with us.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. First of all, weekend's results. Does it feel like the one that got away in a certain way?
A little bit. We actually, last season, we drew with Freo. It ended up being quite an important drop of points.
Yep.
But hopefully, it doesn't mean too much later down the track. But, yeah, it is a bit of a miss.
It's a side that I feel kind of steps up against you. They always just give you a bit of stick, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. And I think with Sammy as their new coach, I think she, wants to get one over us. She's
a great coach and obviously spent a lot of time at the NTC there and has brought a fair bit to that side this year. Kim, your role at the back there, playing centre half and often partnered up with either Matilda or whoever else might slot in there. But you're one of the more experienced heads. How do you see that role, both as a centre back, but also, I guess, being a little bit older and a bit more experienced than maybe some of the newcomers?
Yeah, I think it works well for our squad at the moment. I think if you look at the ages and the positions, it's actually the back line puts the age average quite high up. And even Dale in goal, she's a bit more experienced as well. But I think, it works well for us because, we can just pass it up. The young girls can get the goals in.
They can go do all the running.
Yeah.
As I did mention, you got Matilda alongside you most weeks. You've got April out left. It must be good to be able to play alongside those two girls, but they're obviously people that you know very well off the field. Yeah,
definitely. I think, April and I played for years previously and always have been on the same side, which is good, just playing chemistry-wise. And Matilda, I've really enjoyed playing with Matilda. I feel like we play well together, just kind of know what she's going to do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
She's come along leaps and bounds, really, hasn't she? She's having a great season.
I think last season she was actually fullback and she was great there too. But it's a good centre-back partner.
I do have to mention also your free kicks.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? That is like a centre half that takes free kicks.
Yeah,
is pretty
I have to take
unheard
my
of.
chance. Yeah.
But is that something that you work on, or is that just a bit of a natural talent?
I think just when I was younger, I just liked taking a dead ball, but never really got the chance. And now I'm a bit older, I just pull rank. I get to take them. As long as I keep scoring them.
I'm having it. Just back a little bit more on your role, your leadership style. Are you one to yell and scream, or is it just about setting that example?
Yeah, I think I'd like to think I'd lead by example a bit more. I wouldn't really respond to someone yelling and screaming at me, so I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
It's a very, very different dynamic, I find, obviously, speaking from a bloke's point of view, where you see it every week in the blokes game, but obviously it's a little bit more gentler in that respect in the women's game.
Yeah. I think certain players might appreciate that. Well, there's definitely a time and place for someone to be told, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this group actually, the way we communicate with each other, everyone seems to be on a similar wavelength, which is good.
And am I right in saying there's a couple of captains that kind of just like a leadership group, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's just assigned 3 captains.
Yeah.
So that's myself, April and Hannah.
Okay.
But I would say April's like the main.
Yeah.
She's probably the loudest of the 3.
Is she?
And just naturally is quite a leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy shares it around. I don't know.
Outside of football, what do you get up to?
Not too much. I mean, I've got a dog, golden retriever.
Beautiful.
So she takes up a bit of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the free time, apart from soccer and work, taking her out somewhere.
Yeah, no, beautiful stuff. And, I mean, you've had a great start to the season as a group. What do you feel's been the contributing factors to the season so far?
I think the core we had from last season was an unexpected success with Brogan, and then the girls kind of regrouped, and I was new last year as well. But I think having that core, and then this season we've kind of like added not too many players, but the right amount. The attack is like, good. I think we can go even better, hopefully.
Well, it was obviously just been announced over the last week. You're going to get some more reinforcements, and they're pretty bloody good ones in Ella Lincoln, Tian McKenna, and Georgia Cassidy. So that's headaches for Tom. I mean, how does he fit it all into a side that's travelling relatively well?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't get injuries and stuff like that where there may be spots that are open. But even just having Ella, like it's good to have her back, because that 9 position it was open for her. Yeah, really, she kind of just creates something out of nothing.
Has that been, I guess, your only Achilles heel? I mean, you're right in saying, and I think that's been noticeable even from the sidelines, that there's really been missing that out and out number 9.
Yeah.
Is there any other areas on the park that you feel that you could improve?
I feel it's mainly that 9. Not necessarily that we're not scoring goals, but the goals have been quite spread across a lot of different players, which is good. But then, like last season, Ella scored us 20, 30 goals. Yeah. And it'd be good to have that, I think.
Unbelievable. And a little bit on your journey, we were just talking a little bit before we hit the record button. Similar path to many other girls coming up from the Southwest and playing your juniors before getting picked up by the NTC. It seems to be a bit of a well-trodden pathway, if you like, at the moment for many of you girls.
Yeah, I think there's actually, when you talk to some of the girls, there's quite a few who are from down south. But because this was many years ago for myself, it was a bit harder. Yeah.
You're saying that it was harder for you back then, but now the girls have got, I mean, there's scouts down there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like having a bit of a look for the NTC. And I'm sure Glory probably goes down there and has a bit of a look every now and then. So do you feel a little bit of a pioneer, if you like?
No. There were a few girls actually a bit older than me.
Sure.
That you saw do that, so then you thought, I could just do that. But it'd be interesting now, like Vi's story and like Dale as well. She's from down there. Like how they found it coming to Perth, because you're a bit of an outsider in a way, because you're not the city girls. Yeah.
It's and it is a story. I remember speaking to Baxter Thu last year, and she mentioned a similar story, and even great names like Tash Rigby from down Marks Way and everything else. But it's fantastic that I guess these pathways have now opened up. There's a little bit happening down in the Southwest on the football governance side of the game, which is very important as well. And then before you know it, we're going to have a bloody Matildas game down there. So it seems to be all coming up Millhouse at the moment in the Southwest.
Well, even I think the Southwest Phoenix play in the Division 1 as well. So it's still access to the Metro Leagues.
Yep.
I suppose, yeah.
And once you came up to Perth, NTC, a couple of other clubs before you?
Yeah, so when I aged out of NTC, I went to Redbacks
Yeah.
when it was previously Redbacks.
Yeah.
I think I had a few seasons there, and then went over to Balcata.
What was that like at Redbacks? I've heard so many stories and spoken to Neil Bennett, who had a long association with that particular club, and now Red Star. But being a female-only driven football club, what was that like?
I think it was hard then because that was my first experience at a club.
Right.
So that was just the norm.
Yeah.
But it was a lot smaller then. But even back then, there were a lot of juniors, and there was like a push to have like that development side, which I suppose now they're getting the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But it was very like a community, which I think it is still like. I've got a couple friends there, and it seems to have kept that same.
Looking within the football bubble at the moment, particularly in the female space, I mean, it just seems to be going absolutely nuts since the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. I think even like junior numbers
Yeah.
are up, and there's just a lot of interest, which is good.
I mean, even here you're seeing a lot more just young girls just wanting to play the game, which is fantastic.
Even a lot of clubs I've seen are offering like the 3-4-year-old sort of programs, and there's like a lot of girls involved.
Have you always been a centre back?
No, actually, I can't even really remember. When I was NTC, I think it was a winger.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then gradually, and then I was a fullback.
You're right-footed though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just worked my way back to goalkeeper next.
You just get lazier and lazier.
Yeah,
I
less
know
running.
I've hit my 40s and I know exactly how you feel about that. Growing up, was football a big part of the household, or was it just something that you kind of latched onto?
Because I'm the oldest, it was, I think my brother just copied me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. We were always going to games.
Yeah.
And then, traveling to Perth for soccer.
And team supported? Who do you look after?
Arsenal.
Oh, yeah, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
A bit sad.
Enough said about that. No, I'm joking. So yeah, no, good stuff. And players that you kind of model yourself on, or that you looked up to?
As a kid, because I was a bit more attacking.
Yeah.
I was just like Ronaldo, like every kid.
Yeah. No, it's a good player to look up to, I think. And you're in the Ronaldo camp rather than the Messi camp, because it seems that's the divide at the moment. Looking ahead to this weekend, Perth AFC. I dare say that you probably don't know too much about them.
No, I think when I played a few years ago, we happened to play them actually in the cup, and it was at the same pitch, quite a small, congested pitch,
right? And
it was actually it was tough.
Yeah.
I think we won about 3-0 or something like that. But I think they're top of the league right now
in the second
division.
Yeah.
So.
How do you approach that game? Is there a weariness going into it, or is it just concentrate on what we do?
Yeah, I think more concentrate on what we do. I think it'll be quite important for us we have the ball, then they can't have it, I suppose.
And you mentioned that pitch. I mean, this here, obviously at Doreen Gardens, is one of the widest pitches in the league, in the men's and women's league.
Yeah.
Is that a noticeable difference when you do go elsewhere?
Yeah, definitely. When you play at UWA, that's quite small. Even right? Grindleford, you can feel that it's a lot smaller.
So we can look ahead, in fact. You mentioned Grindleford there. Before we record the next podcast episode, you're going to have to do this tricky midweeker against Balcata, and we spoke to a couple of the girls, of course, reflecting on that night series final, and many of them have said, look, there's no revenge, it's just about what we do. But it's a little bit of a cliche, because I reckon that you girls want to go out there and absolutely wipe the floor with them. Am I right?
Well, I think, any game against like the club rivals.
Yeah.
And they're a good squad. Like,
they are.
The girls are experienced. Like their average age would be, I don't know, 26, 27.
Sure.
And they're all good players that have individually come together. And then, we haven't beaten them this season yet.
No. Yeah. So, we'll see how that all plays out. But, really looking forward to it, because I think it's going to be as Jason said a little bit earlier on, it could be that real marker on where you're actually at this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think down the track they've got a couple games in hand as well. So they might be the team that comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any points we can get.
Interesting times. Just before we let you go, I mean, I know the team's goal is always to win as many games as possible and pick up as much silverware as you can. But personal goals this year for Kim?
I think just that my position and the experience in the squad, I would just want to be like reliable and just like an important part at the start of the attack and concede less goals.
It's a very mature answer.
And some free kicks going in, that'd be good.
There you go. Just a bit of a cheeky one before we let you go. If you could swap positions with any other player on the pitch, where would you rather play?
Oh, striker, easy. If you miss, it doesn't matter. If you concede, it does.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that, strikers miss like up-team chances and nobody blinks an eye, but let one in at the back and everyone's out for you.
About it.
Kim, thanks for having a bit of fun with us.
No worries, thank you.
So there we have it, just about set to wrap things up. Big thanks to Josh Cala. Big thank you to Kim McCartney also, who we heard just before the break. It is a big Friday night fixture coming up as the girls get set to take on Perth AFC in the Women's State Cup. Just to clarify, that is an away fixture that is going to be going on down there at Len Packham Reserve in Coolbellup. Looking forward to that. Kickoff for that one is 7:30 under lights. It might be a little bit chilly, so if you are going to head down there and support the girls, and please do, you might want to just take a bit of a warmer jacket. It might get a little bit cool out there in these as we start to get a little bit into the winter months, shall we say. Also, our senior men, it's 4th v 5th in a big fixture down there at Armidale. Tough place to go at times, but a chance to solidify a spot in the top 4, maybe just open up a little bit more of a gap. And kickoff for that one is 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon down there at Alfred Skeet Reserve. Very much looking forward to that. Grab your scarf, grab your colours, get down there behind the boys. And as mentioned, it is often a tricky little away trip, so I'm sure they would absolutely appreciate as much support as possible. Prior to that, of course, will be our 18s and 23s in action at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. respectively. Also, just before we sign off, a big congratulations to Gordon Perkins and David Ninkovic. Those two gentlemen have been named in the Western Australian state team to take on Indonesian First Division club in Persebaya FC. That is happening at the Sam Kerr Football Centre. It should be a hell of a night out and great to see a bit of an international flavour, an international experience, it must be said, for a lot of these guys, which is absolutely fantastic. Big congratulations to Gordon and Didi there for their inclusion in that side. For more details, you can head over to footballwest.com.au and grab yourself some tickets. Right, let's wrap things up. This has been the Perth SC podcast. Of course, you can find it each and every week on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube Music. We'd love if you could jump on there and give us a bit of a review or a rating. That always helps just tickle the algorithm and helps us spread the word about what is happening here at the mighty Perth Soccer Club. So enjoy your football across the weekend. Good luck to all of the teams involved, and come on the Azzurri.